will be honest with you, I really wasn't too optimistic about what the next year would be like for the Nintendo Switch. The Switch 2 is going to be announced soon, hopefully, at least within the next fiscal year, and according to rumors, the Switch 2 may even be released by spring of 2025. Nintendo skipped their usual winter Nintendo Direct, and the schedule for the year seems like it would largely be made up of remasters. I thought the Switch would go out with a whimper rather than a bang. That was until I watched the June 18th Nintendo Direct. It made me feel that maybe we don't need the Switch 2 just yet. Maybe the Switch still has some life in it. Nintendo announced some total bangers during the Direct. There are a lot of brand new games to look forward to, and we don't have to wait very long to get our hands on them. A lot of the games announced are coming out in the fall, so we'll be able to play them before the year is over. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is a great example of how well Nintendo cooked with this Direct. Ever since Breath of the Wild came out, I've wondered what a Zelda game would look like with Zelda as the main character for once. Her character was genuinely interesting in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and she was actually helping Link on his journeys rather than simply being a damsel in distress, even if that help may come from a distance. Now that Zelda is the main character and Link is the one being saved, people online have been calling for the game to be called The Legend of Link, and I couldn't agree more. I think that Echoes of Wisdom has plenty of potential on that end alone. With Zelda as the main character, so many new opportunities are now open. But then you add in the new gameplay mechanics? Like, holy crap, if this game is done right, we're all in for a treat. The Trirod's ability to create echoes of items and monsters you found throughout the game is a really cool idea for solving puzzles, and I'm super excited to see how it's used. I love solving the puzzles in 2D Zelda games, especially A Link Between Worlds. I loved that one. So it's really nice to see another 2D Zelda game with such great potential for puzzles. I'm also really glad that they reused the graphics they had in the Link's Awakening remake, because it looks so beautiful. Nintendo is still willing to experiment with their franchises on the Switch, which shows that they still have faith in it. On the Wii and Wii U, it felt like Nintendo pretty much gave up when they were preparing for the launch of the next generation, so it's good to see that Nintendo is still willing to do a lot with the Switch. Another example of this is Mario and Luigi Brothership. I honestly didn't expect to see the series return for a long time, since the studio that made the last games shut down. Plus, it's been, like, what, a decade since the last new Mario and Luigi game? I feel like we're long overdue for one, but I'd waited so long that I honestly didn't expect to see a new game anytime soon. The new Mario and Luigi game looks amazing, so props to whatever studio is making it. The Switch has been a powerhouse for RPGs, with a lot of entries and a ton of great franchises making their way over to the console. For example, the Switch has every Xenoblade game with the exception of Xenoblade Chronicles X. With the addition of Mario and Luigi Brothership, the Switch will have 2 Paper Mario games, one of which being The Thousand Year Door, a great remake for Super Mario RPG, and a brand new Mario and Luigi game. Fans of RPGs, specifically Mario RPGs, are being blessed with the Switch's lineup. Just like I said with The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, such big announcements show that Nintendo still has a lot of faith in the Switch and is willing to put a ton of effort into it. They went as far as to resurrect the Mario and Luigi franchise for it. Even Nintendo Switch Sports, a game that was released 2 years ago and hasn't been updated in ages, is getting a brand new update. I seriously thought that Nintendo had given up on this game, and not gonna lie, based on the amount of content it had at launch, it seems like Nintendo gave up on it before they even released the game, but maybe I'm not so sure anymore. Basketball will be a welcome addition to the game, and although that one mode likely isn't gonna be enough to get me to play Nintendo Switch Sports for very long, I'm looking forward to booting up the game again and checking it out. It was also cool to see the online service get new games too, like Perfect Dark and A Link to the Past 4 Swords. A game that I maybe wasn't super duper excited for was Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. That's a game that just feels unnecessary in my opinion. Look, it's cool that the game is going to be made available to more people, because I'm sure that, now that the Wii isn't being sold anymore and the 3DS isn't being sold anymore, playing the game on those consoles is going to be harder than just picking it up for the current console, the Switch. But still, it just doesn't seem necessary. The game already got a re-release on the 3DS, and it really didn't look that bad on the Wii. It's a game, to me at least, that seems like something meant to fill a gap in Nintendo's release schedule. Nintendo pulled out all the stops with this Direct, bringing back franchises and reinventing current ones. They could have simply remastered a Mario and Luigi game and called it a day, but instead, they made a whole new entry. They could have simply remastered a 2D Zelda game like A Link Between Worlds, but instead, they made a massive change by making a brand new 2D Zelda game with a new gameplay mechanic and Zelda as the main character. Those franchises all got such great games, so I feel like Donkey Kong got kinda cheated out on this one. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze Deluxe on the Switch is just an enhanced version of the Wii U game, and now, the only other Donkey Kong Country game is another re-release? Donkey Kong Country was on a roll with Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, and it definitely deserved a new entry for the Switch. I don't know, I'm happy that we got Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, but I just feel like the series deserves more. That was the only real issue I had with the Direct though. I expected the Direct to have a ton of games like Donkey Kong Country Returns HD that were just filler and not really anything substantial. I was pleasantly surprised to see that that was not the case whatsoever. Sure, there were a lot of games that I simply didn't care about. I'd say that the majority of the games that I did care about and really interested me were announced in the second half of the Direct, but that doesn't mean that the first half was bad. The Direct overall had a strong lineup of games, which says a lot about the future of the Switch. The third-party support in the Direct was amazing too. The first 3 Dragon Quest games are being remade with the HD 2D treatment. That's huge. There was a new Ace Attorney collection, a Marvel vs. Capcom collection, Fantasian finally being released on the Switch instead of being stuck on Apple Arcade, an Among Us update, and a Funko Pop game. Gideon Graves making an appearance in the Direct was definitely not on my bingo card. Seeing the Switch get so many great third-party games, even in its 8th year, gives me hope for the console. Such great third-party support makes me pretty optimistic about the next generation as well. Seeing so many great games on the Switch makes me believe that we'll have great momentum going into the next generation. It seems as though third parties need more power to bring over their games to the Switch, and while that definitely is the case, maybe it isn't as big of an issue as I originally thought. Maybe the Switch is capable of handling much more demanding games than I originally thought it could. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond really gave me that impression. Metroid Prime Remastered was very impressive graphically. It really blew me away. And Metroid Prime 4 Beyond looks to be continuing that trend. I was genuinely impressed at how great it looked. Even with a whole battle going on, the game still managed to remain silky smooth and look beautiful. That short clip at the end of the trailer really just blew me away. My jaw dropped as I saw that huge landscape and that beautiful music started playing. My mind was blown. If you told me that game was running on next-gen hardware, I'd believe you. Another game that blew me away was Super Mario Party Jamboree. The last handful of Mario Party games, with the exception of Mario Party Superstars, weren't so great. Jamboree seems to be fixing all those problems though, and it's going to be the biggest Mario Party yet. There are 7 boards this time around, which is a lot better than the 4 boards we got in Super Mario Party. Mario Party Superstars was amazing, and it made me really optimistic about the future of the Mario Party series because it seems like Nintendo was finally starting to realize what was wrong with the past games. Mario Party Jamboree seems to be improving upon so many aspects of the series that were kind of letdowns in the past, and it genuinely looks like it's going to be an amazing game. I cannot wait to ruin my friendships in that game this fall. Overall, there were just so many great games announced during the Direct. I think that the reason people were really craving a Switch 2 was because they simply wanted new games. The Switch looked like it was going to have a slow second half of 2024, with the only real hope of any big new releases being attached to the Switch 2's launch. That's why people wanted the Switch 2 so badly, not because they were dying to play on more powerful hardware, they just wanted something to play in the first place. That's all changed now, because now we have plenty of exciting, brand new games coming to the Switch to hold us off for a while. Sure, there are still big third-party releases missing because they simply can't run on the platform, but the Switch has made such amazing strides to improve what we had from the Wii U that it's honestly pretty hard to complain. You can't have everything, and I'll gladly take this killer first-party lineup even if there aren't as many big third-party releases as the PS5 or the Xbox Series consoles. It's impressive to me that in the 8th year of its life, the Switch is still getting killer Nintendo Directs like we just got. I genuinely would have thought that the Switch would have gotten another one of those Directs where 80% of the games are just random, boring-looking farming games. But no, we only got one in this Direct. It met the quota and then stopped there. There were so many big releases that genuinely looked exciting to me. Even when the Switch was in its prime, you didn't get many Directs like that. It was amazing. The Switch shows no signs of slowing down, and truly, I can't wait to see where it brings us.